Alright, so this is my bug out fishing kit. So it's basically a survival fishing kit, and I was trying to think of something that would be small and lightweight and versatile enough for you to catch a fish if you absolutely needed to. So if you were ever like in a apocalyptic scenario where you were unable to hunt or whatever, or you wanted to actually feed yourself quietly so you didn't attract any predators or people with your gun or anything. So this is how you do it with some fishing. From the video that you saw before, that I showed like my technique and stuff, and I actually got skunked. So if I was starving, I probably would be dead. But the technique actually is proven. So let's get started on what it is. Alright, so I am not condoning smoking, but I do love myself a Havana Honey Vanilla cigar. The tin is what was really handy. This fits really well in a bag. So here's the kit. This is actually a rough draft of the kit. This is what I was using in the video that you just saw of me fishing. And there's some things that I want to change about it. So let's just get over a little bit here. So here's some split shot that you use for weight. There's some little what they call BB, and it's literally the size is BB, so for boy. And then there's actually split shot number 5 in here, which is way too big. So that was a little overzealous. So I'm going to readjust that. I'm going to get some BB, which I have, and then maybe a size up, which they call like a B1 or something. I can't remember the size. So that's about as much weight you need. This is for when you're fishing and you're maybe in a river that's a little quick. So you got to get the gear down to the bottom. And hopefully those of you who are not very fishing oriented, I hope my terminology does work, because I'm going to work a little fast because my videos tend to be long and I talk too much. So there's the weight. So here's the actual gear. I have some nymphs for those of you who are familiar with fly fishing or not. These are sub water, so below water nymphs, and then some standard octopus style hooks, which were actually Brad's 2x red octopus size 8, and this is actually a really good hook. So we'll go over these real quick here. So in here is a couple things. And now with the hooks, you just use these hooks, and my focus is gonna suck. So with these hooks, you would use these in like a bait situation if you were able to scrounge up a little bit of bait or whatever. And I might do a video on how to tie an egg loop leader on one of these, so you can actually, like, you know, yeah, a lot of people realize that this isn't a worm hook, so it doesn't have like barbs all over it to hold a worm. So you use what they call an egg loop to hold your bait in place, and I might go over that one day, but not right now. So that's that. So these are the flies that I have in the kit. Now this is what we would do is, if for those of you in your local areas, you want to go to your local fishing shop or fly shop and find out what like the most common fly for lakes and your rivers. I have lots of rivers where I live, so I use nymphs the most. Some people can get away with using dry flies in a river. It's a little bit harder to do, especially when you're hand lining without a fly rod, because you can't really cast these suckers out far, as you could see in my video. These are mostly copper john. So this right here is a black copper john, beadhead copper john, and the bead right here is what actually helps weigh down the fly so it sinks quick for you. I wish I could get that sucker to focus. And it's gonna be cutting a little bit too, by the way. So that's it. The other thing too is the abdomen of the fly right here is wire. So this fly is actually heavier than what a standard fly would be, so they sink quicker. And then the other one that I use is a flashback pheasant tail. So this is a flashback pheasant tail. So this is a flashback pheasant tail, beadhead pheasant tail, and this is a very common nymph as well. So, and the reason why it's flashback is because it's got that flashy back, and then it's got a flashy back, and then here's your pheasant tail right here. So this works really well. And the sizes are always going to vary. So, and I actually can't even remember I don't even remember sizes. I just know what size I want, just by eye. I don't even remember, but these are like, I think they're like 20s or 18s or something, and I'd be totally wrong. So this is a green beadhead copper john as well. So this is really well, and sometimes the colors are what are going to change how well your fishing goes, especially during certain seasons when the rivers are off color, lakes, certain temperatures and stuff. And so colors are a big deal. So you want to make sure you learn a little bit about your local ecosystem and what goes on there in your local fishing shop, as long as it's not one of those rude ass fly snooty dumbass rich man fly shops. And they do exist, and that's probably why a lot of conventional fishermen have a really hard time dealing with people like that, because they're rude. And I agree with that. I've worked in the fishing department for many years, so I know what that is. So there's the gear, and then here's the line. So now this consists of 3 parts. So here's actually fly line. This is a plastic coated fabric line that you can buy at a local fly shop if you want. You spend about $16 on a spool, and I usually get double tapered or whatever they call it, because then you can make multiple pieces out of each end. And so that's what you use. You can actually go to a fly shop, and they may even have old throwaway line that you can use, and they might even give it to you. Then the second part is a butt section, which is this guy right here. This is your butt section. So that's the butt section. And then a leader, which is attached to the butt section. So this is your hand line, and then there's a split shot attached to it. The downfall with this is I made it too short. So my next version is going to be longer. The way I measured this is I basically made this line twice as tall as I am. So I'm 5'7", so I made it about 10 feet basically. So no, not exactly twice as tall. But so that's what I did. I made it about 10 feet long, and I think I need to make it at least 15 feet long so I can get a little bit more length. And then the leader I made about 5 feet long. Well, the butt section and the leader. So that's it. And then a little bit of tinfoil, because you never know. You can make yourself a little lure if you really needed to. So those of you who are fishermen, understand how lures work. Tinfoil will work. I'm not going to get into that right now. So that is my bug out fishing in a tin can kit. So I am going to show you how I tie this sucker up and teach you a couple knots, and then hopefully I will get some comments on this. So hold on, we're almost done. All right, so here it is. So this is a mini version I'm making. So here's your fly line, your butt section, and your leader. Now I'll go down into weights here in a second, but this is basically a 6-weight line, fly line. So that's what you want to go for, is about a 6-weight. You can actually go a 4 or 5-weight, which might be even better especially for hand throwing, because it's a lighter line. The reason why I've picked fly line is when you catch a fish, depending on how big it is, which I really doubt you're going to catch like ginormous fish, but fishing line can actually beat the hell out of your fingers. I have lots of cuts across seams in my hands or whatever because of line fighting a fish, because I've done a lot of fishing. And so this is going to be a lot more comfortable. So basically I made it where you should be able to get a fish, hold on to this line and get a fish close enough for you to catch it just in case. And it's a lot easier for you to handle. Now, you're going to need a nail knot tying tool or a straw or something, and I would definitely encourage you to Google how to tie a nail knot, but I will show you how to use what they call the tie fast tool. So here's the tie fast tool. This tool is like $8 and it's definitely worth having. Doesn't weigh much, so for those of you who are like all about your bug out bag being small, just have it if you want to be able to learn how to tie nail knots and actually be able to maintain your little fishing kit if you need to. So here's your butt section. This is actually a 10-pound piece of Cajun line, which is a red line made by Shakespeare, which works really well. And so this is 10 pound, that's your butt section. And then here's your leader. And this is what's going to be at the end of the line and what is going to attach to your gear or your fly or whatever. So, and you don't actually have to use these colors. I'm just using these so they stand apart so we can see what's going on. Now, they are both very useful. Like red line is actually one of my favorite lines to use because I can see it really well when I'm watching my line, but it's the first color to disappear out of the water column. So when this actually drops below 3 feet, fish can no longer see it because for some reason the way the water filters color, red is the first to disappear out of the water column. Google it. So here we go. So here we're going to start. We're going to basically work from my hand out to the gear. So all right, so now forgive me for being really jumpy, but this is the finger loop. So what you do is you basically fold the line back on itself like so. And everybody's kind of familiar with this. You know, kind of guesstimate how much you need. You always have more line than you need in the beginning, so when you're done cutting everything, you got lots to work with, okay? So back on itself, then fold it over like so, and then bring the eye of the line back through the loop that you just made by folding it over. So, and then I'm just going to kind of keep an eye on what I want. I'm kind of guesstimating what my finger loop should be. That's about what I want. So then I usually make sure my line, the line kind of is symmetrical. See how the loops, and my camera sucks, but see how everything's nice and neat. It's not back over itself or tangled up wrong. For those of you who know knots, give it a tug. So there's your finger loop. So now when you're fishing, you'll bring this through. And so that way, if ever for some reason you run out of line, it's not going anywhere. See, I can just relax my hand and, you know, a little fishy can't like rip the line out of my hand. Because if you were just holding on to it like this and weren't paying attention, whoop, there it went. You lose your line. So that's the finger loop. So now what I do is I'm planning on just using this for myself. This tag, you can leave this tag here if you ever want to adjust your loop, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it just like that. So I'm going to cut it, leave a little bit in there, and cut it. Nail clippers always work, but you can use your knife. When I was out on the river, I made that one that we originally saw. I made it right there on the river out of pieces of this, so it wasn't actually prepared here. So there's your finger loop. Now pretend that this line right here is about 15 feet long, even though it's only a little over 2 feet long. So here's your line. So this is the end of it. We're going to take our butt section, and this is how a nail knot tool works. So this is the direction so if this is going towards where the gear is, okay, where the hook or whatever is. So you take your nail knot tool, you lay your line through it, and this is called the thumb pad. And then you can have a lot, you know, it's like I said, have a lot to work with. So here's your thumb pad. So you lay your line through this little trowel right here and down, and this is what I call the bitter end or the tag, okay? So you lay it over there, put the line, put your finger on the thumb pad to hold it in place. So now she's in place, and you're gonna pull on it, bring it back, okay? Then wrap it back towards your thumb, and I'm gonna go about 5 wraps. So there's 3, 4, 5. So then you hold your line. So now see, I can let go. I'm holding my line, thumb still on the thumb pad, fingers holding my line. Then you take your tag and then you go back through towards, like right through that that line that we just made. So there we go. Okay. Now I'm very bad at this stuff, so that's kind of how a nail knot works. Wrapped it around towards my thumb, then took my tag and then ran it through the wraps, the middle of the wraps, back towards the direction that we want the butt set or the fly line to go. So now we take the fly line, we run it through, and it's okay to go like, I don't know, about an inch. Some people say half inch, doesn't matter. Take this line, you can let go. Now give it a jerk really quick. So I just gave it a good jerk and it's supposed to slide right off. So there is a nail knot. So that's the nail knot. Now, it's okay to wet it. So I'm going to wet it with my lips wet. So it's got a little bit of lube so it doesn't, friction doesn't kick the crap out of the line. So you give it a pull. Okay. Now grab onto the fly line, grab onto the butt section and yank. Give it a pull. There we go. So now you got your butt section tied to your fly line. So now trim the tags as close as you can without breaking anything. Okay. So there's the tag of the fly line, and then here is the tag of the actual line. Okay. There we go. Now you technically, for those of you, and you want to practice doing that nail knot quite a bit, and then give them a lot of tugs, make sure they're good, because you don't want to be out there starving to death and then have nail knots fail on you. So that's it. Good to go. Okay. So there's my finger loop, fly line, boop, 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 boop. There's my nail knot to my butt section. This is a 10-pound butt section. Now we're going to do what they call a blood knot. And the blood knot is going to be pretty much damn near impossible to show you on this video because my video camera sucks balls. So here we go. So you're going to take your two ends and overlap them with each other like this. Okay. So they're basically going like that. Okay. And it's okay to have quite a bit to work with. Not too much because then it gets in the way. So now what you do is you start with one tag. So here's one tag. Okay. And you start twisting it around the opposite line. So it's going around. You want to go about 6 or 8 times. Then see where they're divided right there? Run the tag through that division one direction. Okay. And then I'm going to hold it like that. So there's the tag going through. Now you take the other line. So one line was the butt section, the other is the leader. So now I'm going to take the leader line and wrap it around the butt section about 6 to 8 times. 6 to 8 times, okay? Now I'm going to take this tag, which you cannot see very well, and I'm going to run it through the same eye that this red tag is going through, but the exact opposite direction. Okay? So it's going to go through the opposite direction as the Cajun line. And it's not hold on. Generally, if you get it just right, it should hold. See, it's holding. So the tags are working. So now I'm going to wet them with my mouth. So I wetted them with my mouth. And then you're going to give them a pull. I'm pulling each line. And then that sucker will shrink up like that. There you go. So there is a blood knot. So that's a blood knot. And it's not a very good one, but that will hold. That's a fishing knot right there, my friend. So now I'm going to take these tags. These are your tags. You're going to trim them. So you're going to cut them down as close as you can to each other. Now some people will actually coat this little knot in super glue or not. They do have knot glue. Now that's a little fancy. Obviously when you're out in the apocalypse, we're not going to have knot glue laying around. So there's your nail knot. So you got your nail knot and then your blood knot. There's a blood knot. Boom. And then here's your bitter end. So now we're going to use a hook, one of these octopus hooks as a example. And I'm going to show you a double triling knot. Now, triling makes great line. We all know that. So here's my hook. Here's my leader. And we're going to do a triling knot. So way a triling knot, and it doesn't even matter. You can go either way. From the back side, this is the back of the hook, or the front side, this is the front. Front's where the hook barb is. Doesn't matter. So you're going to go through the eye. Okay. Like so. Okay. Then back around and through the eye again. Now, the smaller the hook, especially with like flies and stuff, you need a good leader. There is a difference between leader and line. Leader will have the same pound rating as line, but it will be a smaller diameter and it's more expensive. So you want to make sure you buy leader for your leader and then line for your butt section, because it is two different things. And it works best that way, especially for light fishing, what we're going to be doing in creeks and rivers and stuff, because obviously we're not going to be steelhead fishing while we're trying to hide from marauders and whatnot. So now I got my double loop, so you can kind of see how it's double looped through there. So I'm going to basically pinch that loop with my fingers. So now you can see the loop there. Now I'm going to wrap the line, this tag, around the main line of the leader like 6 or 8 times. I'm a 6 or 8 kind of guy. So I got it wrapped. Now you grab that tag. So there's my tag. You can kind of see him right there. Then what you do is you're going to actually run it through both. See how there's 2 eyes basically? There's the loop that I made. And then the actual eye of the twist. So you're going to take this tag and run it through both loops. Just like that. And then you grab the tag and pull on your main line like that. And then wet it with your mouth. So I put a little spit on it. Now just pull. Boop. Give it a nice tug. Now I will grab this tag with my teeth, which is bad, and pull on it. So there you go. That's a double triling knot. This is a really good knot, and you can use this knot for tying pretty much any hook to a leader. And you just trim it up. So there you go. So that's your triling knot. Got yourself a blood knot, which you can barely see. Then you got yourself a nail knot, which is right there. Then you got your main line, or your fish fly line, and then your finger loop. So that is basically your mini hand line survival kit fishing gear. So let me know if you got any questions. Please comment, subscribe, and like, or actually subscribe, comment, and like. Let me know if you have any ideas or anything that you want to talk about. And this is actually one of my favorite fishing lines, Cajun line by Shakespeare. And Shakespeare makes some cheap stuff, but for some reason this Cajun line works the best. I've caught lots of fish on this, including all types of steelhead salmon and trout, brown trout, bull trout, all kinds of trout. So this is Trevor with High Desert Tactical, and where's your fishing survival kit? And one more reminder, don't forget about my Win the Pioneer Poker Chip Set contest. The video will be in a link at the end of the credits of this video, so don't forget to go there. All you got to do is basically just comment and just say that you're entering and what state you live in, and that's it. And the contest will be ending in October 6th, I think. I can't remember. Read the description of the video. So there we go.